What's going on, awesome people? Durud ba shoma. Welcome to another episode of Countdown to Freedom in Iran. Wednesday, February 22nd, the fight for freedom in Iran continues. I'm so grateful that you are here with us once again. Wherever you're joining us from, I hope that you're doing well. I hope you're healthy. As a matter of fact, let me know where you are joining from. It's always great to kind of see some action in the group chat. So great to see some of the familiar faces already. Great to see some of the amazing uniters. It's going to be a big program, ladies and gentlemen. Aside from three awesome guests that I'm going to have, actually 1, 2, 3, 4, excuse me. I have a message that I'm going to give, and so stick around. It's an important message. A lot has been going down in the past few days, and it's worthy of a little one-on-one. So stay tuned. Grab your cup of coffee or whiskey or margarita. There's a few people in the uniters that they're choosing different types of poison. Whatever it is, grab it. And let's go. So, without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, if you've been joining Countdown before, you know that we always start the program with a fabulous young lady. Her name is Paris Mansouri, journalist and also producer to Countdown. So please help me welcome the fabulous. Enter Paris Mansouri. There she is.
Azadi. How are you?
Lovely. Good. See, all of a sudden my head's cut off, so let me go ahead and move this up real quick.
A little bit. Your hair. By the way, your hair grew back so fast from the time you shaved it in the beginning of the revolution.
Yeah. You know, stress doesn't just make you lose hair. Sometimes it makes you grow hair faster, I guess. I don't know. But this is really upsetting me right now that we're cut off. But anyways, let's get right to it, Paris. You know, we're on day 159, and news today: the 2 diplomats from the Iranian embassy in Berlin have been expelled.
Yeah, that was
what
the
can you tell us?
This morning, I've been trying to follow the story, and one thing I would like to start the segment with, just so everybody is clear on how we're doing this. We are obviously not in Iran, and we obviously do not have direct contact. Like, we have friends and family in Iran who can share stories with us, but the reporters on the ground in Iran are not accessible to us. They're there, if they are, they're very much on the side of the Islamic regime, or making sure the information that they're sharing doesn't put them in danger. So the work that we do here for Countdown is really researching the news that comes out. So I saw this news report from France 24 earlier this morning, and I've tried to spend the day as much as I can just to check the backstory, to make sure the accuracy, and also to give as much of a balanced perspective to our audience, because as much as Western media says one thing, we also have to factor in what the Islamic regime is saying. And again, we're not looking to them for accuracy, but it's very important to us to be able to portray both sides of the story. And it's just really important for us to share that with our audience, so they know we're not just randomly saying things. We're basing ourselves on mainstream news outlets, people who are sharing information on Twitter, on Instagram, but accurate sources. Please know we're not repeating what other people are saying, but that the work here is being thoroughly researched. So that's why I threw Iman for a loop literally 5 minutes before we went to air, because that's literally when I was able to confirm that this is actually true. So long story short, news out of Germany is that and again, if I'm looking to the side, it's from my notes, I want to make sure we're accurate, that Germany is expelling 2 diplomats. Now, this is in relation to the Iranian German national. His name is Jamshid Sharmahd. I don't know if you're familiar with his story, but his family...
Yeah. I've been in contact with his daughter.
So you're familiar, but for our viewers who are not, this individual is an American resident, but he's a dual national. He's Iranian German, and basically he was unfortunately part of an abduction plot. He was kidnapped and brought to Iran to face trial on sham charges, essentially. The Iranian regime says it was a complex operation to bring home a terrorist. That's their side of the story. But those familiar with these sham trials in Iran know that you don't really need to have done anything to have accusations laid against you. So what's happening is essentially the German Foreign Minister Annalena Baerbock said in a statement that Berlin was declaring 2 Iranian embassy staff members to be persona non grata and ordering them to leave Germany right away. They said that they have summoned Iran's charge d'affaires over the case for Jamshid Sharmahd and basically not recognizing the death sentence that he received by the Islamic Revolutionary Court. They convicted him, he's 67 years old, in connection with the so-called deadly bombing of a mosque in 2008 that his family completely disputes. So that is the latest from Germany, and that is the first time we've heard Germany in recent years saying that they have expelled Iranian diplomats. And it's a huge deal because as part of the revolution, one of the main things that we are requesting is that all diplomats from the Islamic regime be basically persona non grata in all foreign nations. So could be a start, and hopefully it is.
That's great. So while we're sticking to Europe, actually, there was a big day for Iranians in Brussels on February 20th, this past Monday. Can you give us a roundup of that? More than 6,000
people rallied through Brussels demanding stricter EU sanctions on the Islamic regime. And just that number, 6,000, this number was given by local Luxembourg Times publications, but other publications are saying there were 5,000 Iranians. So again, somewhere between 5,000 and 6,000 Iranians were there, and they were also demanding to list the IRGC, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard, as part of the list of terrorist organizations. So local news outlets mentioned that many non-Iranians were also part of the rallies, in addition to the recognized members and the leaders in the diaspora who are leading the charge again in this revolution.
Yeah, there's definitely some variance in the numbers. I feel like Ali Reza Akhundi definitely estimated at least a
30,000,
much higher,
and that police
had
said 30. And again, this is why I'm saying we do our fact checking. We're not going by individuals. I'm going by what the local news are reporting according to their local sources and local police departments. And by the way, local police is usually unable to. They don't do a head count. Theirs is also a guess, so it's a contact saying those numbers. Again, we see the visuals, we can make out for ourselves. The point is making an impact. Sometimes two people stand out. And it's like, it wasn't 6,000, but those two people showed up. So please don't think you need to be part of a large protest to make a difference.
Exactly. Let's change it up and talk about the Munich Security Conference that was held over the weekend. The Iranian government is usually represented at this event, but was not invited this year. What else do we know about that?
So just so everyone understands, there was a conference in Munich. They hold this conference annually, and there was a session during this conference on the second day. It was called Women, Life, Freedom, Visions for Iran. According to Reuters, the Islamic regime was not there on account of what their actions has been against their own people.
So what was it? I'm sorry to cut you off. So were they not invited?
No, they were not invited.
Or they chose not to come?
They did not receive an invitation, which was a very big deal because despite all of their crimes in 44 years, they still got an invitation. But this year, they've been recognized for the atrocities they've been committing against their own people for at least the past 5 months, which those of us who know the news, it's been 44 years of it, but that's another story. That's one of the reasons, but also because of its support for Russia. In the war with Ukraine. So instead of the Islamic regime officials, there were opponents to the Islamic regime who were there. And basically they sat, they spoke, and they shared their perspective on what's going on. Some of the individuals are familiar. I'm going to name them off. There's women's rights activist Masih Alinejad, she's also a journalist, British Iranian actress and human rights activist Nazanin Bonyadi, the son of the last Shah of Iran, Prince Reza Pahlavi, Hanan Newman. He's a member of the European Parliament. He's actually been very Hannah Newman. But there was another gentleman as well.
I know. Oh no,
no,
I'm saying
she.
Hannah. I thought you said he. I was like she.
I'm sorry, she.
My bad.
That is what she designates and presents herself as, a member of the European Parliament.
They.
And Bob Menendez, who's the chairman of the U.S. Senate U.S. Senate Foreign Relations Committee. So again, interesting conversations. It's very important for everyone to know that these sessions are free to watch and accessible to anyone. So if you Google Munich conference and you Google Women, Life, Freedom, Vision for Iran, you can actually see what's said. And it's so important to just take the time to do that, just so you're not relying on media and their interpretation of what was said and all the bite-sized clips that we're seeing being shared. Really, it's our responsibility to know what's happening, and you don't need to be a journalist to care. If you care about the revolution, the information is readily available to all of us out there. And I just want to take time out to like just thank all our viewers, the ones who tune in every week and the new ones. So I'm just seeing like Nikki John, we have Shiva Jahani who's away on vacation and watching. We have Real Sophie's World, Neda Baruni is here, Mona Haqiqi, who's a superstar uniter. Who else? Are you seeing any comments? Sherry Jun is here, Lisa Bubari, are you following? Negin June. Yes. Anyone have comment or questions for Iman? Throw them in here. He doesn't get enough questions.
Not for me.
No,
Paris.
not at all.
Paris
I'm going through
star.
it. Thank you
Ask
everyone
her.
for being here. And again, if you have any...
I do want to recognize Mehran, who I believe has been joining every episode from Montreal.
She's my mother.
So I don't know if you know him or not, but...
And she follows you cool. And has followed you for years.
Oh, wow. Durud bar shoma Mehran Khanum. I was not even thinking of female. I was thinking of Mehran.
Get that a lot.
Ajab. خیلی خوش آمدید برنامه کمدم. درود بر شما.
So there we go. Sidetracked a little, but you're laughing.
I'm laughing at Mona's question about how I keep my hair so slick. There's a famous gel. It's called LA Look, and that's what I use.
Love you, Sophie's joking. World. I don't know her, but she's lovely. She watches all the time.
Of course you know her. It's Yegane. How do you not know Sophie's World? That's her daughter's name. But yes. And Shahla June is the lovely, lovely person from Signs Are Us that has blessed us with the most incredible backdrop. Shahla June, Durud bar shoma. Signs Are Us, always a place to go for all your printing needs in all of South Florida, probably and beyond, because she's awesome.
So we're talking about the recent UN report. So keeping on that little political sphere, according to a UN report, Al-Qaeda's de facto leader is hiding out in Iran. So apparently his name is Saif al-Adel, and he's of Egyptian descent. A UN report says that basically...
There's nothing safe about him being there.
That was lovely. Saif is a gorgeous name, and anyways, names and associations.
It was a good joke. I thought it was a good joke.
I'm just trying to be mindful of if we have viewers who might not want the comparison. Just say. So a UN report says basically that it is basing their report on member state intelligence. The US says it is aligned with the UN report in saying that Iran, basically the Islamic regime, is harboring the de facto leader of Al-Qaeda. The permanent mission of Iran to the UN denies the allegations completely, but it is really important to mention that because, as you guys know, the war against Daesh, against ISIS is ongoing, and if Iran and the Islamic regime is getting the nation involved in this conversation, it definitely heightens the issues of terrorism and the dangers that Iranians face.
Okay, thank you. By the way, I'm going to pause for 1 second. I believe there's an option to share a current IG live. If that is the case, for all you amazing people that are watching, please take a moment and share it. Let's try to get some more people. We got Shahla coming up in a second to be talking about mental health minute. We have Sareh Kazemi coming up, and our special guest Pezhmun Ghiassi, who's going to be an incredible guest to have. Let's get this word out so we get more people to join in, so we have as much viewership and exposure as possible, because the things that we're talking about are important. There's full of action items coming up. And so please click that button, right, Paris? There's an option to share it.
Like people.
Okay. Oh my God, I never thought it's a paper airplane. I never thought about that. All right, well, fly with me. Let's go. Next thing, there's a follow-up to Salman Rushdie's story we covered on a previous countdown episode.
So we mentioned him.
What's the latest?
Make a really long story short. Salman Rushdie is an author. He wrote a book in the 80s called The Satanic Verses. It basically covered loosely the life of the Prophet Muhammad, but the Muslim world took offense to it, and the leader of the Islamic regime at the time, Ayatollah Khomeini, put a fatwa out on his life, which was a religious edict calling for his death. So this man has been basically running for his life since the 80s, and he was attacked and injured and basically survived really severe traumatizing injury. He lost vision in one eye. And the individual who has been arrested in relation to this crime and allegedly implicated in the injuries, obviously he hasn't been convicted yet. So we're saying allegedly, but the Islamic regime says that he is being rewarded with a plot of land. So even though the Islamic regime says it has nothing to do with what happened, this gentleman, his name is Hadi Matar, and basically he's a recipient of a nice plot of land in Iran for basically attacking this author 30 years after this fatwa was put on his life. So
sorry, I was trying to text Pezhmun to give me a heads up. We might be running a few minutes behind schedule. Let's kind of get to the next things real quickly. CNN put out a report this week about the secret detention centers in Iran. Let's keep it
super
1 minute
short.
so we can keep on.
Iranians who are aware of the landscape in Iran and under the Islamic regime know that prisons are not run like, you know, very organized facilities. CNN has confirmed this in their investigative report. They've been able to pinpoint locations of more than 36 black sites where individuals are basically taken and tortured, and horrible things are done to them. You can Google it, you can search it. It's, you know, content advisory. It is extremely disturbing. One thing to notice that I wanted to highlight, and it's very sensitive, is that they keep referring to the Islamic regime as the Iranian regime. And we need to remind the CNN report and this reporter. And they keep saying the Iranian regime is doing this. And we just, as a reminder, it is not the Iranian regime. It is the Islamic regime of Iran. The Islamic regime and Iran are separate. Yes.
Got it.
So there's news about Salman
protesters.
He is the Iranian Kurdish rapper who was arrested back in late September. Similar to Toumaj Salehi, he's been an advocate for freedom for years, and basically the Islamic regime has taken him and has been torturing him. According to the Kurdistan Human Rights Network, he is currently in Evin prison, and he has started a hunger strike on February 16th, basically because the uncertainty of his case, and he's trying to make a statement. So hashtag Salman Yassin, and let's just please keep him top of mind.
For sure. And of course, hashtag free too much. Our last guest, you know, Azadi has been doing so much to bring awareness to his situation. And we're going to talk about his Zoom with somebody very soon, because he had a Zoom today, or not him, but about his situation that we'll get to hopefully very soon. What are the action items this week? What are the hashtags we're following this week and should be using?
Hashtag Toumaj Salehi, hashtag free too much, whichever one you want to use. For our American friends who are watching, if you're interested in basically getting Robert Malley fired, long story short, Robert Malley is the individual who's trying to keep the nuclear agreement alive between America, the world, essentially, and the Islamic regime. If you want the American government to listen to you saying that you disagree with him leading the charge and that you want him fired, you can call the White House comment line. I'm going to say the number, 202-456-1111. If somebody can type that out in the chat, 202-456-1111. The line is going to be open until tomorrow, which is Thursday, February 23rd.
I'm more interested in Rob Malley getting fired than wanting oxygen. So please help me fire Rob Malley, who serves absolutely no purpose and is one of the major wheels, or excuse me, wrenches in our wheels. So please do what you got to do. Call that number that Mona just put it. You got to do it tomorrow. If you miss it today, do it tomorrow or the day after. Pezhmun has been pushing this very hard on his social media. We're going to talk about that in a few minutes. Pezhmun, as always, end it.
Just our language is called Persian when we're speaking in English, and when we're speaking in Persian, our language is called Farsi, not the other way around. Sorry, I went over.
And can you say it in Persian too? Say it in Persian too, please.
هست Persian و به فارسی زبانمون هست فارسی.
خیلی ممنون. شب بخیر. زنده باد و به امید آزادی. Ciao, ciao. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Show Paris how much you love and appreciate everything she does for us. And up next, it's time to welcome Sareh Kazemi, who just came after a nice little 1-hour nap. She needs to get energized because she's a super mom. She's been doing so many amazing things, and she's still going to look fabulous even after a nap to get the job done. See, I told you. I wasn't lying. There it is. Hi, Sarah.
Why do you have to put me on blast all the time?
Great to see you. It's not A blast. Listen, naps are healthy. I feel like a 20-30 minute nap, power nap, is necessary for all adults, you know? So you're doing what is a good thing to do health wise. And nobody blames you if you need to take a power nap, anyways, because you do so much for Iran. You do so much for Unite and Conquer. You do so much for your family and friends. And that's why it's all good if you got to take a nap. And you still look wonderful. So,
Thank you.
all right. Well, listen, let's get right into it. You have a lot of important things that you're going to be talking about, and you started yet another initiative as if you didn't have already enough on your plate. So let's go ahead and get right to it.
I have to call out our amazing action planning uniters team comprised of several individuals that everything that we have been doing actually online has been prompted by individuals, not myself. I simply facilitate the conversation and contribute where I can in small ways. But truly, it really has been a product of our action planning team, and I'm grateful to be among them. So that has to be said. Kudos to them.
Can you just name them real quick? I want to hear some first
names. Zahra, Yegane, Army. Who else am I missing here? Mona is now part of it.
Hediye,
Nusha. Yes,
definitely.
Yegane. I feel like I'm missing several people there. I apologize if I left anybody off, but an amazing group of individuals. These most recent ones have been prompted by these individuals and truly pulled together in a matter of hours. I feel like yesterday the chat was on fire, so I really do appreciate them for inspiring me. I'm lucky to be among that group. But really quick, the main one I want to focus on, Iman, actually is, I had mentioned on the last call that on February 27th, the Iranian foreign minister is actually set to address the opening session of the United Nations Human Rights Council. And in parallel to Hillel Noor, we were wanting to amplify the hashtag #WalkoutIRI campaign. And so tomorrow, we're actually going to be rolling out a social media post through Let's Unite and Conquer that we want everyone to share. And through that, there's an actual call to action where we will be asking all delegations of member states, of 193 UN member states, to, at the time of the start of his, before he says one word, to all in unison stand up and walk out, giving a strong signal that we're not there to hear what the Iranian foreign minister has to say about anything human rights related, because Lord knows they are the least eligible and qualified to speak on that topic. And what we've done to make it extra easy for everyone is actually created 2 slides bringing up a list of about 24 or so delegate Instagram handles and Twitter handles for you. So you take a screenshot, you copy and paste from your picture, and you can immediately paste it into your post and share that story, adding in the tags of those delegates, whether it be in Instagram or in Twitter, both of them ideally if you can, and share that call to action with them. We basically have between now and the 27th, today's the 22nd, so tomorrow through the 27th to do this as many times so that hopefully they hear our message. And again, in parallel to the actions that have been requested globally. We didn't initiate this, to be clear, but we want to amplify the hashtag #WalkoutIRI campaign.
Yeah, and you know, I just want to give a shout out to the people that are spending all this time and doing these things, because they're so important and they're often overlooked. You know, they don't realize just how much of an impact this can have. You know, anytime somebody thinks like, what can I do? This is so easy. Utilize this blessing of social media. Sometimes I wonder how 50 years ago, how these authoritarians were able to truly do the worst of things to their people, and the entire world wouldn't hear about it. And here we are, we have the entire world at the tip of our fingertips, you know, and we need everyone to at least utilize this power that we have. So
well,
this is great. Anything else you want to share,
the timeline, but as you mentioned earlier, there was a panel today discussion around Tumaj Salehi, and while I'm not going to go into the details on that, I will say that we generated also another list of about 80 or so Instagram handles of artists, rappers, advocates, journalists, news media outlets that we now have to leverage across all of our social media posts so that we can tag these individuals. Some of us were excited that, like, my favorite artist saw my post and Chris Cuomo saw a couple of ours. So, you know, little by little, we can all, like a little rock in a stream, have these outer waves of impact, and we can all play a role in this. It doesn't have to be a massive, you know, boulder thrown in the water. Little pebbles over time certainly make dents. And we can all be those little pebbles. And, you know, it doesn't always have to be in the form of a rally. What we do on social media matters. These conversations matter. And that's where I want to focus more of my time moving forward.
Thank you. So on a closing note, until I have Shahla joining, which please, Shahla, request to join so we can do the switch. Can you talk about FitFam and like what you're trying to do in general in 1 minute? Because I see Shahla joining. In 1 minute, say what your goal is with that. To
put together a calendar of physical fitness activity options for the community to take advantage of. Some of them may be free, some of them may be paid classes. All of them will be valuable for you in increasing your perseverance and continuing to fight this battle.
Yeah, definitely. South Florida, you're blessed. Take advantage of it. Sareh, thank you so much for everything you do, as always. And the updates, Shab Khush, we'll see.
Azadi.
All right. The omide Azadi. God dang it, I always forget. My bad. All right. So, dear guests, as we do the switcheroo from one shears on to another, I want to help welcome licensed clinical social worker, badass uniter, amazing human being, Shahla Nikpour with us. Hi, Shahla. Great to see you and your fan.
I'm having some technical difficulty tonight.
No problem. You have a lot of fans, you know, literally, like not just in your home, but people who are joining here. There you go. Look at you and your new bangs. It looks great. Amazing. Look at that. All right, cool. So I'm not the only one who's doing a different hairstyle. Great stuff. Fantastic. All right. Well, for those who don't know, Shahla is a licensed clinical social worker that holds active licenses in the state of Arizona, Florida, New Jersey, New York, and Virginia, and holds 2 master's degrees. She's a licensed creative arts therapist and holds her 2nd master's in clinical social work. And she has spent over a decade of experience working with domestic violence survivors, supporting children, adolescents, and adults with recovery from complex post-traumatic stress, and has been an incredible uniter for the last 5 months. Shahla, we're talking today about compassion fatigue. First of all, what is it?
This is a good topic to bring up, especially in the diaspora right now. Compassion fatigue is basically our ability to have empathy and compassion. It's, you know, starts to dissipate and deplete, especially when we're caregivers or we are people that work with trauma or are doctors, dentists. I mean, anybody that is in a helping profession. But I think that I want to speak to more about compassion fatigue in the diaspora, as we have all been doing this fight. We have all been posting. We've all been exposed to these very traumatic videos. And so compassion fatigue is basically when there's a gradual dissipation of empathy, compassion to ourselves and to our community. And I bring this up because, you know, there's a lot that's been going on in our community, and compassion fatigue happens in all different types of systems. It can happen in your family, it can happen in corporate jobs, it can happen in hospital systems. And, you know, how that kind of shows up is, you know, there's burnout, there's drop off of attendance for people that are involved in an organization. There's a lot of apathy and cynicism. There can be a lot of negativity. There's a lack of boundaries. There's, you know, people are not, you know, meeting their deadlines. You know, those are kind of some examples. And so, you know, just in the, you know, everyday human being experience, compassion fatigue can be, you know, physical again, emotional, behavioral. So again, you know, fatigue, difficulty sleeping, sleeping too much, not sleeping enough. Emotionally, you know, we can be more irritable. We can be very apathetic again. You know, it's a lot. You know, there's a sense of, you know, hopelessness. You know, I don't know. I kind of want to know from the group that's on here, that's in the chat, like what compassion fatigue means to them. what they feel like they're experiencing, because I think we need to really talk about it. You know, there are days when if you're already working with people, if you're, you know, a doctor or somebody that's, you know, a healer, a teacher, you're already putting a lot out there. And then this idea of watching what's going on in Iran, and it's been over 5 months now, you can hear things like, what's the point? Why are you fighting so hard? Nothing's going to change. And then there's, you know, division within the community too. And that is compassion fatigue. We are all really struggling with that. And so it's really important to know a couple of things about what's happening if, you know, you're experiencing that and what you can do. So I just kind of wanted to put that out there. It's a very loaded topic, but I think we need to talk about it.
Yeah. No, I feel like already you kind of listed a bunch of things that I personally experienced. And if anybody else who's watching experienced it, say what you've experienced. Feel free to, this is our little home, you know, so I want everybody who's watching to, you know, engage in this conversation, and perhaps Shahla can even address something that comes up in the chat. You kind of talked about some of the signs.
Sure.
Let's talk about how we can address
again,
it.
It's about understanding and identifying your feelings first and foremost. We're not denying our feelings. We're giving a name to our big feelings. We're validating them. The second thing I think that's really important is if you are already working with people that are trauma victims or survivors, or you're working as a nurse, it's about knowing, you know, where you're getting this trauma input. So if you're already getting it from work, probably not a good idea to get on social media at night and doom scroll in your bed more videos of violence. It's not that you don't care, but it's also about you're putting more trauma input into your body and your mind. So having some boundaries around that, having some schedules, having boundaries within the community, having defined roles in the community. I mean, this diaspora has been working very hard, but I think there's sometimes people that feel like I'm doing a lot, but somebody else is not doing enough. So I'm pissed at them now because they're not doing a lot. And so in everybody's community, you have to have defined roles of like what you're capable of doing. It's about physical exercise again. And I'm a big proponent of sleep hygiene. You need to be getting at least 6 or more hours of sleep. Those are just a few of the things that you can start doing. More breaks in the day, taking more mini breaks. You talked about the power nap. That's a good one as well. But those are just some of the things that you can start to do.
Wow, Shahla, so just reading some of the comments, you know, there's a lot of like, I feel guilt. I feel like I'm not doing enough. A lot of bad eating habits, not sleeping enough. So many different things. Shahla, you and I need to have a separate conversation,
Sure.
a full-fledged hour, perhaps as much time as you need, as you can have, because just based on this initial reaction right here, it comes to no surprise that we need to do this more. A lot of people kind of need to get back on track. But I will say one thing before we go to the next topic, because I do need to get to Pezhmun in about 5-6 minutes, is that everybody over here who thinks they're not doing enough, I promise you, you're doing your best. And that's amazing as it is. The fact that you're watching this kind of conversations, the fact that you even think you're not doing enough, I promise you, you're doing more than 99%. Unfortunately, you're doing more than 99%. So stop it with the guilt, recharge, take care of your mind, body, and soul. Keep on following people like Shahla. She's doing a lot of great things like the Omide project. Let's transition to that, Shahla. Let's talk about all the work that you've been doing with the community with the
talk
Omide
about
project.
Compassion fatigue. I wanted to share this week that, you know, we have launched the IG account, the Omide Project for Iran, and we have been getting a lot of inbox messages about people in Iran that are really struggling with suicidal ideation. And it was a really rough week for us. I mean, I have a wonderful group of mental health clinicians from around the world that have just rolled up their sleeves and jumped in, but we don't even have the bandwidth or manpower to handle all of this. And so we're getting these messages of, I'm going to kill myself on my birthday. And, you know, it's been very scary. And so what we really need right now with the Omide Project for Iran is we need to get connected to the actual mental health providers in Iran that are helping us fight this fight. We have to bridge that connection. We have to be able to have a community bank resource there. And it's really hard because a topic that's come up is like, people are not very trustworthy to call the crisis line in Iran. there are no HIPAA laws in Iran with mental health. You know, are your medical records sealed? Are they protected? And so there's so many like logistical things that I think another hour conversation would be good about what mental health rights are for people in Iran. So it's not like you just pick up a phone and you can go to an outpatient clinic. These people really do not have any accessibility to quality mental health care providers. And our hands are tied with, you know, us not being able to do a lot. We had a really amazing psychiatrist in our group who was on the phone with one of these people in Iran until 3 a.m. And, you know, talk about compassion fatigue. There's just a feeling of helplessness. And I, you know, I wish I had a big bag of money or won the mega millions so we could like start this non-for-profit. I know Azadi, if you're watching, she's had this idea of starting a crisis line that would help people in Iran, but it's still like, again, talk about psychological warfare from this regime. This is one of them. You know, people are not having accessibility to mental health care. So it was a really intense week for myself, and I have to give out a shout out to Army, who has been a trooper in this and like handling these things that have been coming in. And we just need more people in Iran. If they're watching, or you know people in Iran that you can really vet and know that they're in this, please, we need to start connecting with them and building this community.
That's amazing. I mean, I feel like compassion fatigue is something that you are literally dealing with at this moment right now. And all I can tell you is, actually, you know what? Let me not tell you. Let everybody here show you just how much we love you, how much we appreciate you, how much we appreciate what you and Army and everybody else that's, you know, putting so much of their time and effort, all the health professionals, Azadi, so many other people. Like, I literally I want to just get everybody on a freaking video call and just say thank you to all of you, you know. I got emotional just thinking about what Azadi was doing when I talked to her last time around. It's incredible. I mean, like, take what every one of us who's doing something and multiply it by 100, and that's what people like you are doing. So let's, Shahla, let's definitely have more conversations, because it's so, like, our community needs it. You know what I mean? Our entire community needs it. And anybody who's watching, please follow Shahla, please follow the Omide Project. I know that the Instagram page is being tagged below. Follow it. And Shahla, thank you so much. Let's have you on more often here at Countdown, and also just side chats whenever you're available. If you have time for it, I'll make time.
I appreciate everyone in this community, and I'm sending love and just healing vibes to everyone. Okay, thank you.
Is there any important message that I may have forgotten? Because I know we're kind of crunching on time, but
I mean,
you want to
again,
shout
just
out?
you can reach us on the Omide Project for Iran. If no question is stupid, we need everybody. We need all hands on deck. And I just want to thank the people that have been doing this project all over the country. I don't know if some of them are on. They've been amazing. They've been creating content, and I thank them so much. I'm so grateful to have people that are my safety net. You guys are my safety net. We're building the bigger safety net, and hopefully we will, you know, be able to start healing 40 plus years of, you know, trauma.
Yeah. Well, listen, we appreciate you, Shahla. Please, I know you have a lot of down days dealing with what you're dealing, but please know that we're all rooting for you to continue to be strong and be a great leader in such an important element of this war. It's not even just revolution. This is straight up war. And what you all are doing in the mental health part is so commendable. And we admire what you all are doing. And I hope that you all continue to get the energy that you need to stay strong and be able to make the positive impact that you're trying to make. So much love. Shab Bekhair. Good night, and see you soon. Ciao. Bye-bye. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to welcome our special guest tonight. This individual has been such a loud voice in this revolution. I just had the chance to, how you doing, Pezhmun? I just had the chance to briefly really connect with him last night, even though we've been kind of chatting here and there. Pezhmun, man, you've been an inspiration. You've been awesome. You've been nothing but authentic and genuine in this fight for revolution.
Thank you.
Appreciate you joining Countdown.
I'm not gonna lie. That was kind of emotionally triggering hearing all of that. And like, you know, sometimes it's like you seal away your emotions and you seal away all the trauma for a minute or two, and then you suddenly the jar just opens itself and it just comes gushing out, and it's like, oh God, what do I do? But thank you. I'd like to thank Shahla June for really bringing that up and devoting her time. So
I appreciate you acknowledging her. Yeah, no, for sure. She's been an incredible United for the last 4 or 5 months, doing so much for the South Florida community and now a global audience. Listen, for those who don't know Pezhmun Ghiassi, I mean, you're an author, you're a hairstylist, and you are a former U.S. Marine.
Thank you.
So first of all, appreciate your service, sacrificing so much and just being like the ultimate soldier, you know, and now you're being a soldier for the people of Iran, you know. So thank you for this opportunity. But for those who might not know anything about you, take a moment to share about yourself.
I'm half Iranian, half American. I was born here in the States on the East Coast. At a young age, my parents split, and my dad took me and my sister with himself to Iran. I grew up there, basically, I guess you could say. From 10 to 25, so I like to call them like the molding years, because that's that you really shape.
Wow.
With that being said, I really identify as Iran as my home, you know, and it's sacred to me, you know. I learned so many beautiful characteristics living in that country, and I really understood what love means to be Iranian. I'm not going to be nationalist, but I'm just saying the truth. If anyone knows a true Iranian who's authentic to their roots, know that they're full of love, compassion, empathy, kindness, and the amount of selflessness is indeed self-destructive, but it's very admirable. So I'm dedicated to that. And besides that, being an LGBTQ member, I have suffered a lot by the hands of the IRGC. When I was 16, I know this might be maybe oversharing for some people, but a group of boys, Basiji boys, got me drunk, and well, we can leave it at there what happened, because I'm pretty sure it's obvious. So that really did scar me, amongst that, with so many things that besides that, the toll the Islamic regime took at all of us, as you know, as an entire community, they really withheld us from growth. They really diminished us, and they've done a lot of much more harm to us than what we actually think, as far as just as financial issues. They've stripped us down to the very last drop. And I think it's here where we can't stay silent anymore. Because I see not just me, I know so many people have reached out to me, and they equally have been hurt, and everyone's trauma is just surfacing. And I'm not going to say they want revenge, but they want to see the righteousness to sit in his throne, you know? They want to see the death of this regime, as all of us do. We want peace, we want freedom, and we want happiness, smiles for a country that is nothing but giving and love. So,
I mean, first of all, Pezhmun, I want to, it's taking me a moment to process what you shared, because it's so vulnerable, and it's so like, I mean, it takes so much courage for you to like share this with our community. And first and foremost, I want to say I thank you for doing that, because the easy way route would be to not share something like that. And I want to commend you for speaking up about it. And one thing that really stood out is when we were messaging last night, you're all about kindness. You're all about love, and you want to like focus on that.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I can be an extremely loving and kind person, but if someone crosses the wrong boat or does something wrong, I know I'm learning on balance to tell them when to F off. Okay.
Yeah, and that's okay. And that's all good. I'm of the same mindset. But what is it that like what is it that motivates you and drives you to continue this fight? Because it's been 5 months straight and I've been observing you. I didn't know you before the revolution, unfortunately, but I've definitely been seeing your emotional posts. I've seen you you know, just put yourself out there. Like, what is it that continues to drive you?
I think it's my heart. It tells me to do the right and ethical thing. Unfortunately, we live this day-to-day life. Everyone's so caught up with their me's. They forget about the whole we's. And that's so unfortunate because you're missing out on what humanity really means when you don't really go beyond your little box of just you as a human being. I can't understand people who don't want to speak up against unrighteousness. I don't know. I'm not able to fathom it. It doesn't make sense to me. And I'm guessing this is here where I need to have compassion for those who probably, it's because so many people have not been through hardship in life and have never really faced oppression, or for that being said, they won't care as much. You know what I mean? They haven't seen it one-on-one on their own person. So it really gives them this opportunity to not really care. I think that's what it is.
Let me ask you. So, you know, you mentioned that you're half American, half Iranian. You were a former U.S. Marine. How have your American side of network responded to how much you've been speaking up about Iran? Like, are you getting a lot of support? Are you getting a lot of who cares? What are you getting? How are you feeling as somebody who literally has one foot in beautiful Iran and one foot in beautiful America?
I think it's a balance in between kind of both. No one has said who cares because I would have ripped them a new one. But
I got that a couple of days ago on Facebook.
Some
by the way.
random,
like literally somebody
person,
said, who cares?
I'm not even bother with you because you're out of the game.
Yeah.
I'm not even like waste my time on you. You're too stupid. But
yeah,
I can see a lot of people. It's just they say someone said it's depressing to me, and I'm like, are you serious? Like, what about having to live that actual life? I think that's a lot more than depressing, my friend. Right? A lot of people, again, that's because they haven't seen too much. They don't have that emotional power to really be warriors. And it sucks. We're not superheroes as Middle Easterns at all. We're not. We've been forced in this situation and we've been taught to fight. So as far as that, we have that, but I have some of my friends. My best friend, she's a pretty little white blonde Barbie doll. I'm gorgeous girl, full of love, extremely involved. She's come to the protests with me before a couple of times. She posts every here and there. She raises awareness. She roots for me. There's been times where I really have to break out. I remember I really had a really bad mental breakdown when Kian Pir Falak was killed. And I'm fortunate she was there. Man, she was this close to calling the ambulance. It was really bad, but I'm glad I have people like that, non-Iranian, who are able to show that kind of support and compassion. And those kind of people, they just leave me in awe, their existence. And I am beyond grateful to know that there are people out there who have still not gone through these kind of situations. And I, like Shahla said, are able to empathize.
Absolutely. I want to spend the last couple minutes of our conversation here. I mean, no matter how much we talk right now, it's not going to be enough because I admire you, I respect you, and what you're doing is really commendable. But let's talk about the LGBTQ community, and tell me whatever it is that you would like to share
The
about
LGBTQ
it.
community in Iran. I think the past 2 or 3 years, things have gotten slightly a little bit better in some locations, just very slight locations, not everywhere, because we've seen honor killings still going on. That happened to Ali Reza about 1.5 years ago. Being LGBTQ in Iran is extremely hard because not only do we have to worry about the government, but day-to-day people. So we're targeted by not only the main villain, but people are becoming villains against us. And it can be very hard, and it takes a lot of courage. For me personally, I was one, I never gave 0 flying, Fs, to be honest. And I always had that mentality of, no, I'm going to be me no matter what, which got me in a lot of trouble. But I didn't care. I remember when I was like 20, 21, I did my hair like this flaming cherry red. And going out in the streets, the only thing I was worried about was my dad, and he didn't care. He's like, actually, he said it looks good. So like it boosted my confidence. Yeah.
Was your
my dad's
Iranian or mom Iranian?
Yeah, this is back in Iran
I'm sorry,
too.
By the way, that's good.
Yeah.
By the way, kudos to your father as an Iranian
He was
father. That's
supportive of my
great that
hair
he was
color.
supportive of you.
Being gay took him a hot minute. Took him a lot of time, but he came through. Eventually he came through.
Yeah.
But that hair color got me in more trouble than I could ever imagine. Almost got me killed once, but we'll save that for another time.
My goodness. Well, I mean, first of all, you need to post that picture on Instagram if you haven't already, and tell the story. I think there's a lot of inspirational story components related to that. Please tag me in it. I'd love to be able to share it. But on a closing note, The Handsome Twist. That's your book. Let's end it on the book. I mean, I saw the description. It's it's basically on your own accounts. But tell the viewers and just tell them how they can get it and learn about it.
So The Handsome Twist is the actual story of my life. It's a memoir written in the form of a fiction fantasy. It has themes of both dark and spiritual. The concept of the book is extremely political. It's feminist to an extent, I guess you could say, because Zendegi, Azadi, like, what are we fighting for? And I wrote this book back in, I started in 2018. I published in 2020. The main goal of writing this book, because to be honest, what I shared earlier is merely 1/10 of the atrocities that I've experienced in life. And the main concept of me writing this was not only to raise the voice of Iranian LGBTQ, but to help any human being, regardless of their race, gender, sexual orientation, to be able to find courage to speak up about their traumas, express themselves, and allow themselves to be their authentic persons. I'll write the name of the book here as well in the
for sure. The Handsome Twist. I'm hoping that you have a link in your bio to anyone that wants it. Yeah, please, everybody here, check it out, click on it, support him as an author, as a human being.
I'm hoping one day that I can take this book back in LA, and I want to take it to the big screen, because I think Iranian LGBTQ, and Iran in general deserves a very, very, very big representation in America and all over the world. We are very undermined, and we have done so many wonderful things on this planet. We come from such rich culture. We were the first nation to establish human beings' rights. I think we deserve a very big say in Hollywood and all over the world. I think we should be shown for what we truly are.
Well, I think you should direct it,
Definitely.
You should write it, and you should star in it. And if you don't, I know enough people in Iranian show business that I think when the time is right, we need to all align, and these type of stories need to be told. It's not even, I feel bad to even have just a 10-minute IG live with you, not even a 2-hour podcast would be
Oh, that's
worthy
very
of
sweet of you.
your story. But we will make sure that your story continues to resonate within our community and beyond. You're an inspiration, my friend, and I hope that you continue to shine bright. I hope you continue to be unapologetic, and I hope
Thank
you
you.
continue to spread the
Thank you,
love that you are
Manju.
doing. Thank you so much, Pezhmun. It's been a great pleasure. Any closing words before you say goodbye to our
I want to
community?
thank everyone for your beautiful and kind words. I want to ask of you to fill your cup first. Don't be self-destructive like me, please. Learn your balance. And one more thing, please do not waste your time on specifically modern ageism. Please do not think that way, but don't try to nitpick with the older generation. They won't get it. I'm sorry. They're just not going to hear you out. Do your thing, continue the fight, and try to encourage others who you know are going to, quote unquote, give in. Remember, you can't teach an old dog new tricks.
That's incredible. And that's one of my favorite closing segments right there. You know, some people they want a signed signature or
Oh,
signed
I'd be honored to do that.
signed book of yours. I want a signed shirt
I
that
don't
you're
know
wearing.
if I can
That looks
sign
like an
this. The
amazing shirt.
material of this shirt.
And you know, we were joking about
No,
taking the shirt off. Don't take it off tonight, you know, but it looks great though.
Much
But
love.
Pezhmun, much love to you, man. We're going to be in touch, and we're going to continue to take over this regime. And it's because of people like you that I want to continue doing things like this. So thank you for being an incredible guest, an incredible human. Much love to you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, just as advertised, Pezhmun is amazing and he's awesome. If you don't already follow him, please do. And as he signs off, and he does, I just want to take a moment to thank our producer for tonight. I'm going to have a closing message in a second, but before I do that, thank you so much, Pezhmun. You've been incredible. You work so hard behind the scenes. I don't think I properly thank you enough for all that you do. I want to take a moment and thank Negin Derakshani. She has truly been the most consistent financial supporter of everything we've been doing at Unite and Conquer, everything that I've been trying to do. And you sacrifice so much of your own personal gain to continue to support Unite and Conquer, to continue to support and be a supporter of me. And on that note, about supporters of me, I'm going to share something right now that is really primarily is targeted towards the South Florida community because they're the ones that really know what's going on. But I'm hoping that it is some type of a learning lesson or experience for any other leader or any other organization that is right now fighting for a free Iran and trying to be the voice of Iranians. And you know what sucks is the fact that I think I only have 3 minutes to share this because it is I think there's a 60-minute cutoff here. So a part of me is thinking that I might just have to stop this right here and start it because I don't want to be rushed. This is extremely important to me. It's been really laying very heavy on my heart for quite some time, and I just don't want to see the 60-second marker that's going to come. So I'm going to wait 1 more minute. It's 8:58 p.m. If it gives me this 1 minute countdown, I'm just going to stop this video and I'm going to start another live, and I'm going to share what it is that I want to share. So on a closing note, again, thank you for Paris. Thank you for our guest tonight, Sareh June, an amazing uniter, and also Shahla June for all the things that she said. You have my word that I'm going to do more IG lives with Shahla and more mental health experts. It's just insane how many people are struggling right now. I feel like we need to help our mental health professionals that are doing so much. Like, they are the forgotten soldiers of this war. And I don't know what we need to do to truly express our gratitude, our appreciation, our love for so many health professionals that have been sacrificing so much. I mean, it's just insane what these individuals have done. I mean, it's not just Shahla, it's not just Azadi Afsahi. It is hundreds, if not thousands, of individuals that are health professionals that not only have had to deal with their patients and themselves that had to go through a whole pandemic, but now are sacrificing so much more to help our people, why they themselves are going through all the stuff that we're going through. I mean, like, it's just so much. I swear to God, I think we need to do something for our mental health professionals. So I was waiting for the 60-second timer to come on. When I had Dr. Shahim, it gave me this 1 minute warning, and it's not giving me this whole 1 minute warning right now. So it's 9 o'clock. This is weird. Okay, so it didn't give me the 60 minutes freaking warning. All right, so let me tell you guys something. Five months I've kept my mouth shut, and it's time for me to really speak my piece. I love my people. I love Iranians, and for 25 years I've been doing whatever I could to bring Iranians together. A lot of it has been for selfish reasons. It's because I wanted to connect with Iranians myself, because I never had a true sense of community until I met Iranians. As somebody that was born and raised in Germany, I never lived in Iran. I never visited. Well, I'm sorry, I visited one time in Iran for 2 weeks, but I never stayed there for a long period of time. And so at the age of 16 or so, I got introduced to Persian music. Literally at 16, I realized that there's Persian pop music. I got to know Andy and Siavai Sham's music, and I was like, holy crap, there's more than just this type of crap that's being played on Radio Sadai Iran that my parents were playing, where it was just Nale and Haide and all this crap that I just did not resonate with all due respect to Haide. But I didn't know that there was pop music. Can you imagine that me, who's known as one of the most phobious American Iranians, that I didn't even know that Persian pop music existed until I was 16 years old? I immediately started following Iranian music, and I immediately was like, oh my God, I want to be a DJ, even though I did not even own a single CD. I swear to God, I decided to be a DJ before even having a single CD. It was through Iranian music that I was able to realize that there is this world of an Iranian community in the DC area. I didn't have a single Iranian friend, even though I lived in Washington, DC in 1996. I did not have a single Iranian friend. Sorry, there was Roxy in my high school. Iranian music and being a DJ and starting my entertainment stuff was a gateway for me to be able to be connected to a community that not only did I not have, I didn't know that I needed so badly. And fast forward 25 years, a revolution happened. And I had just created in 2019 Unite and Conquer as an LLC with a simple mission to unite Iranians via impactful conversations, in-person events, and digital content. I was like, I want to have an amazing YouTube channel where we can lift up Iranians who are doing incredible stuff. So I started my own podcast called the Awesome People Podcast. It was all about me interviewing the most awesome Iranians that I know, from singers to musicians to artists. I had people like Sami Begi, I had Tehran, I had Shali Zomorodi, I had Andy, I had Maz Jobrani. For Christ's sake, I had the Crown Prince and Princess Reza and Yasmin, which that could be all controversial in and by itself, but I don't give a fuck, because I was just interviewing them as human beings, and I don't envy their life at all. Like, I feel bad for Reza that he has to deal with so much crap right now because of whatever his father did. So for me, it was, as a curious Iranian, I had the opportunity to interview somebody and just to get to know them as a human being. And so I don't shy away from the fact that I interview. I don't shy away from the fact that I know them. It doesn't mean that I'm a monarchist. It doesn't mean that I'm a Shahi. It doesn't mean anything. My mother was a secretary of the Shah of Iran, and I still don't say that there should be a monarchy. I wholeheartedly believe, personally, in a democracy, but more importantly, I believe in whatever the people of Iran want to have as their infrastructure, as their structure, as whatever the fuck they want to live under. My fight is a fight for a free Iran. My fight is for a free Iranian people, so that we don't have people like Kia Pirfalak dying. So we don't have people like Massa dying. We don't have people that are being killed and tortured and just living in the most outrageous, the most despicable ways, inhumane ways of being treated. So Unite and Conquer in 2022, when this revolution began, and I was in Miami, and I was like, oh my God, there's a revolution that started. Where the hell do I go? Where do I protest? That's how my mindset started when September 22 came around. It was like, as an Iranian in South Florida, where is the protest? It was never, I need to go and be an organizer of a stupid protest. It was out of the fact that I realized that nobody is doing anything big and nobody has experience in doing events and production, that I decided to, not even me, it was actually bestowed upon me, because the first few people that started to do this protest in Miami, I realized that they didn't know how to do an event. So they were actually looking to me to help and organize. And I was more than happy to, because why the hell not? I've done thousands of events. I've done hundreds of events and concerts. If there's any Iranian that knows how to bring people together via events, it would be me. That's not arrogance. That is 100% fact. So my intent of starting protests and doing whatever I can to bring Iranian South community and South Florida community together, it was solely because of the fact that it's the shit that I knew how to do best. And we did it best. And we were bringing 2,000 people in a South Florida area that only has about 10,000 people. So when you compare how many people came out, South Florida showed up because of not just my contribution, but the collective people that we got together to be able to do what we need to do to get people together. So why am I sharing this? Because a couple of weeks later, unfortunately, it led to the point where there was an individual in our Uniters group that was trying to basically utilize the group that we've created to represent one movement leader. There's no need for me to mention who that person is. There's not even a need to even mention who is the movement leader. That's not even the point, because from day one, I was like, I want to be the voice of the Iranian people. It was not meant to be the voice of any movement leader, whether it's Masih Alinejad, whether it's Hamida Ismaili, whether it's Ali Karimi, whether it's Reza Pahlavi. I don't care who it is. That's not my role. It never has been. It never will be. My role was to amplify the voice of the Iranian people, and all I could do was get people together in South Florida. All I could do is get a bunch of people that would want to volunteer to do the same thing that I'm trying to do. Unfortunately, this one individual was very offended when we did not want to have a personal statement by one of the movement leaders at one of our protests. That one person got offended as to why I was not willing to change any kind of chance to satisfy the request of this said movement leader. I stuck to my guns and I said that I will not deviate from the mission of Unite and Conquer, which is to unite Iranians that want to be the voice of the people of Iran. This caused a lot of drama. This is what led to people calling me a divider. This is what led people in South Florida complaining that why are you splitting the groups up? Because now all of a sudden that individual and a couple of their friends wanted to bifurcate and do something else and be the voice of that one movement leader. I stuck to my guns. There was a lot of huffing and puffing, and I was like, I don't care. There was one individual, his name is Arash. I don't have to give a last name, but you can be damn sure that there's legal ramifications coming for this one individual now. I've not said for 5 months, I kept my mouth shut, but I'm going to tell you why I'm going to continue to now fight for my reputation, fight for my character, fight for my integrity, fight for my honesty. I will not allow any kind of slander. I will not allow for any defamation. I will not allow for any single human being that will try to bring me down, bring down the Uniters, bring down the mission of Unite and Conquer, try to split up the South Florida community, try to split up this entire community that we're trying to build together, that are trying to do one thing and one thing only, and that is to amplify the voice of the Iranian people. So as a result, that individual, Arash, decided to go on a Telegram channel of more than 800 people in South Florida, and I can screenshot it and send it to you guys, whoever wants to actually read it. But in short, It was all about calling me a liar, a thief, that I'm only interested in promoting my business, and a lot of other slanders, lies, and basically defamation of character to the T. I mean, you go ahead and show an example of defamation of character, and there it is. It's this Hajara that decided to put this on full blast. And I did not say anything for 5 months. That, unfortunately, that was the root of a lot of seeds of doubt that were planted in South Florida. At the time, I didn't say anything. At the time, I decided not to put my whole legal team behind it, because I was like, you know what? Let this pass. I was like, I'm not going to spend time and money to try to bring this person down. And thankfully, there were some incredible uniters who had already witnessed what we were all about, and they did their part in fighting. But I didn't realize that behind the scenes in the last 5 months, individuals like him and people that believed his lies decided to continue to just trickle down these lies to people left and right, left and right, left and right. As a result, over the last 5 months, we had a drop in turnouts in the protests. We had a drop in turnouts as far as uniters being involved. We had 60 uniters that were fully dedicated to our mission. 60 went to 50, 50 went to like 53. And out of the 53 that are in our uniters group chat right now, there's probably 20 active. And unfortunately, there's a 20 group people that have been inactive that are just onlookers. And I want the onlookers of the uniters group chat to know that you will not be able to continue to sit and watch and look into our home, look into our uniters home with individuals that are truly dedicated to our real mission, and think that you can go ahead and continue to just gather information and continue to spread lies. I will get to the bottom of who it is in our uniters group chat one by one that have been doing any kind of slanderous activity. And I will put every single financial resource capable to me to be able to sue and to be able to protect my name and the name of Uniting Conquerors Uniters. I have to do it. I have to do it because what they're doing is truly what the Islamic Republic wants to happen. Is they want the protests to die. They want people to shut the hell up. They want people to start fighting and bickering and arguing. All that. They're loving it. And the people who are the reason for this type of division, the people that are the reason for this type of drop-off, they are nothing but extensions of the Islamic Republic of Iran. They might not consider themselves as member of the regime, but they're behaving like it. They would rather assume, they would rather lie, they would rather exaggerate, they would rather go and cause questions and doubts and plant other things that are not helping the movement whatsoever, rather than coming straight to me and have a man-to-man conversation or a woman-to-man conversation or a they-to-man conversation. I'm looking straight into the eyes of every single person that knows exactly who they are. I'm going to find you. You're going to be addressed, and you're going to be eliminated from this group, and you're going to be eliminated from our community. I will make sure that you're called out. I will make sure that you will not be the reason why we stop our fight. Unite and Conquer will continue to do events in South Florida. You can mark my words, and God rest his soul, my father is right here witness. Unite and Conquer will continue to do whatever I want to do, only because I know where my heart is. I know where my soul is. I know where my intent is. I will not be intimidated. I will not be afraid. I will not be pushed. I will not be slandered. I will not be criticized publicly, and I will not have any single human being do anything to break up my Uniters family. You're not going to come between me and my United sisters. You're not going to come between me and my Uniters brothers. And I want you to know that your attempt will be futile. And it's going to be expensive, because when I come suing, I'm coming in with 100% backing. And if anybody here agrees with me, if anybody here supports me, it's time for you to come truly help me protect the Unite and Conquer brand, protect the Unite and Conquer mission, protect the Unite and Conquer vision, protect me, so that we can all continue fighting the fight that we all need to be doing. I could single-handedly fight this fight, but the time, the effort, the money, the resources that it will take for me to do it single-handedly is just going to take me away from the real mission of bringing down the regime. So although I appreciate applauses, although I appreciate the love, what I really would appreciate is helping me figure out who these traitors are, calling them out, bringing them to my attention, allowing them to at least bring whatever concerns they have to my attention, and then see how all the chips fall. This is one thing that is truly a poison to our community, ladies and gentlemen. It's the inability to communicate. It's the inability to be sincere, to be honest, to be able to confront somebody that you have an issue with face to face with facts. What facts do you have that I'm a NIAC member, Mr. Reza? What facts do you have that I have stolen money, Mr. Arash? What facts does anybody have that I have done anything other than trying to be the voice of the Iranian people? If you have it, for the love of God, share it. If you don't have it, for the love of God, shut the fuck up and get the fuck out of my way. You're not going to stop me. You're not going to stop the diehard uniters. And we're going to continue to fight. Why? Because I fight for these people. I fight for the 80 million people that have been oppressed for God knows how many years. I fight for the fact that my mother and my father had to live an incredibly difficult immigrant life, just like millions of other Iranians that have been victims of this regime since 1979. So many of our parents were living during the golden years of Iran in the 1970s, and it was stolen from them. So if you have a family member that something was stolen from them, what do? You fight back. What do you do when an entire life was stolen from them because they were murdered? What do you do when their entire life was stolen from them because they were tortured to the point where they never ever really lived a normal life? So their life was taken away. What do you do to somebody who's taken the life of a loved one's loved one because they lost their brother or sister or a cousin or aunt or uncle or grandfather or son or daughter because they were executed, because they were tortured? You fight back. I'm not stopping fighting. I'm not hiding. And so if you're an MEK supporter, you cannot stop me. If you're a NIAC supporter, you cannot stop me. You have shown yourself. You've shown your colors. History has shown it. You cannot erase history. You cannot alter history. There's a reason why 98% of Iranians don't trust NIAC, don't trust MEK. You don't speak for the people of Iran, neither inside or outside. So all I have to say to you all, ladies and gentlemen, is that there comes a point in time where you really have to just decide how you want to live your life. Do you want to live your life scared? Do you want to live your life feeling like anybody can just intimidate you? Do you want to feel like you can just have anybody say whatever you want and just say, oh, it's okay, it's just somebody that's talking shit? No. There comes a line that when you pass it, when you cross it, you have to fight for it. And there are millions of Iranians right now inside of Iran that they cannot fight the same way that we can fight outside of it. So I'm just using the liberties that have been bestowed upon me for living in a free and democratic country like the United States of America. It is truly a blessing. And if we do not take advantage of these freedoms and we continue to stay silent and we continue to just let the regime do exactly what it is that it's been doing for 44 years, then guess what? The next 44 years will be the same shit. Hamun kase, hamun ash. Your children, your grandchildren, same transgenerational trauma, same type of bullshit, over and over. At some point, somebody has to get up and say, no more. And I'm telling the South Florida community that's been lying, that's been hating, that's been disrespecting, that's been doing whatever they can to not be involved, not be at the protests, not willing to help, not willing to cover the costs of me and our team, putting so much of our time and work and life into this movement. It's time for you to either join us or respectfully get the fuck out of our way. Because at this point, you're either with us or you're against us. And if you're against us, you are nothing different than the Islamic Republic of Iran, the Islamic regime. So, I haven't had a chance to read all the chats, but I will tell you a couple things. We're putting together a brand new HR software. Thank you, Monojun. Thank you to the HR admin team. We're updating our website with a clear mission statement, vision statement. It's actually pretty much updated, but it's still not complete. We're going to create an FAQ. The FAQ is going to address every single question, every single concern that you have. You can have full access to the tax returns next year. You can see exactly where the money went. If you think that I'm about money, trust me, this is not where the money's at, okay? Not to mention how much my exclusive entertainment company has been impacted by this. Not to mention how much my Night Owls company has been impacted by this. If you really want to support me, please hire Exclusive Entertainment for your entertainment services. Please hire Night Owls for your photography, videography, helping your business create content. That's how you can help me right now, because I've been financially crippled for the last 5 months because of revolution, why people are trying to lie and act like I've been profiting from it. I have nothing to hide. Money doesn't mean anything to me in a sense that I feel like I have to show that I have money or not money. I don't give a shit to say that it's been financially crippling doing what we've been doing for Iran, but I would do it 10 times over again. But if you want to support, spread the word about Exclusive Entertainment. Spread the word about Night Owls. If you really want to help, join the Uniters. We have a new HR software that we're launching soon. It's going to clearly talk about the mission, the vision, anything else. It's going to have like a bunch of questions that you're going to have to answer. And then please come through the system, join us, figure out how you can be a part of this movement. Do you know how to create content? Are you an editor? Are you a producer? Are you a director? Are you somebody that loves social media? Are you somebody that wants to come up and put up posts? Are you somebody that wants to come help create content like captions? Do you want to? There's so much shit that we can do. Do you want to help make more countdown episodes? Do you want more countdown episodes? Well, guess what? It takes more manpower. It takes more time. It takes more money. But it's doable. There's nothing stopping us from doing daily countdowns except for time, people, and money. Can you solve any of these 3 problems? Let's do this. I'm a huge believer that communication and conversations can lead to massive change, massive opening of hearts and minds. That's why I do these things, because I know that conversations are impactful. So without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you guys hearing me out. I really hope that I can save this video. Thank you so much for the ones that have been true believers from day one. Thank you so much for those of you that are willing to look into what we're doing, to see if it's something that they want to allocate their time to, because I know it takes up a lot of time and energy to be doing what we're doing. But isn't it worth it for a free Iran? If we can look back in a year or two, or however long it takes to bring freedom to Iran, wouldn't you want to have a part of that? Wouldn't you want to fly into Tehran and be able to say that I had a part in this? Wouldn't you love to be able to be responsible for the freedom of tens of millions of your compatriots? Wouldn't it be amazing for your parents to see a free Iran that many of them perhaps even lost their hope for? So we literally gave them something that they've lost hope for. You can't tell me that there aren't many Iranians that have lost their hope for a free Iran. Wouldn't you want to be responsible for doing what nobody thought was imaginable at this point? Well, let me tell you, a free Iran is not only within sight, we will make it happen. But the question is, are you going to be a part of it or not? Don't doubt yourself. A free Iran is here. There's no way that there is no Iran, no free Iran in the future. No way. There's not a single dictatorship that has lasted in the history of the world. This regime is no different. It's been a brutal regime, but freedom in Iran is within sight. And right now, it is the closest that we have been to a free Iran. But we got to put our brains together. We got to stand up for what's right. We got to shut down people that are trying to crush people like me. I'm a nobody in the grand scheme of things, but right now, they're trying to crush me. They're trying to degrade me. They're trying to crush my character, my integrity, everything. They're trying to really shut us down. So if you don't want us to be shut down, then just know that you have to get up. You have to get up. And for all the traitors out there, please know that you're going to have to face some kind of judgment day. There is going to be a judgment day for you. I mark my words that there is going to be a judgment day for you. And it's not in my hands. But there's a God above that is going to take care of you. And you're not going to like it. Hell is a horrible place to be, but it's waiting for you. Unless you wake up and you realize that what you've done is fucked up, and you man up and you come and apologize. Arash, apologize, retract. Reza, apologize, retract. A couple of uniters, I'm not going to say your names right now, but I will say the name when the time is right. I hate to even call you a uniter. You've been a traitor. You've been a traitor, and I hope you're watching, and I hope you realize it. I will confront you when the day is right. I will 100%, but I have to keep it classy for a little bit at least. But there are traitors around us, and you have to understand that there are truly wolves in sheep's clothing. They're there, but I need you all to protect me. I need you all to protect what we're doing. We've worked way too hard for right now to have to get to the point where we say, oh, you know what, I'm fed up with doing protests. Well, no, we should not be fed up with doing protests. This is a time where we need to have thousands of people in the streets of South Florida instead of saying that I don't want to do it. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Whatever it takes. If there's 10 people coming to South Florida protest, I'm going to do it. And I'm going to shake every single person's hand. Moving forward, mark my words. If we do a protest, which we will, the next global call for action, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. If I have to set up speakers on my own, I will do it. If there's 10 people in South Florida coming to the protest, I will shake their hands. If there's 100 people, I'm going to come shake your hands one by one, because I need to connect with every single person that gives a damn. And then that way we turn 100 into 500, the 500 into 1,000. There's 10,000 Iranians here, and you cannot tell me that at least 1,000 people give a damn about freedom in Iran. So I'm not stopping. I don't care that our protest went to 2,000 people down to like 200 people. I cannot, in good conscience, on a global day for protests, sit at home, twiddle my thumb, and have to think to myself that the Arashes of the world, the couple of uniters that decided to deflect of the world, have been the reason why I'm sitting here and not doing my service and my duty for my people. And I hope that if you're watching this, that you are truly like realizing that we cannot let these people win. And by not doing protests, we are letting them win. So please, uniters, you need to come to Zoom meetings. You need to continue to tell me what I need to do better. You need to tell our leadership team whatever we can do to do better. We will listen to you. We will respect you. We will welcome you. And we got to figure out how to make this shit happen. I'm not going to let South Florida break up. I'm sorry. No way, Jose. No way, Jose. On that note, I love you all, even the haters. I love you for showing me that there are haters and that we have to be vigilant and that we need to work harder to unite. Freedom is a very hard thing to fight for. You have to always fight for freedom. Freedom is only, I think Ronald Reagan said it, that freedom is like 2 generations away from being stripped away. We saw how easily freedom was stripped away from Iran, and we can't let it happen to unite and conquer. So appreciate you all listening. It's been a long ass diatribe, but I had to get this off my chest, and I'm glad I did. And I hope to see you all part of the action. If you're in South Florida, please be a part of what we're doing in some shape or form. Connect with people that want to support financially, that they want to support by providing certain services, whatever it is. Every single person can contribute to whatever capacity that they can. Do it. Do it. Time is right now. We cannot let this opportunity pass us by. We will regret it for the rest of our life. If Iran does not become free during this latest wave and the truest revolution that we've had in 44 years, we will all regret it. Let's not be 95 years old and saying, oh, kashki. That's all I got to say. Love you guys. Shab khair. Ba umid